I feel as soon as you mentioned that lineup, I was just thinking like, I bet if any of those brands are listening, they're like, okay, we're against our competitors, and then you throw in Invicta, they're like, what the hell? Why did you put that in there against us?
It's controversial.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Craig from Wrist Enthusiast, and we're back for another episode of Wrist Enthusiast Radio. We got Ben here.
Hello. Hey guys.
And we got Derek here.
What's up, everyone?
How's everybody's week's been going?
Why don't you start, Ben? You've been doing some fun stuff.
Yeah, it was cool. I went to Boston to the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Championships with Mito, so that was really cool.
I was in Boston at the same time as you, but we'll get into that after.
You were there, yeah.
How was that?
It was cool. I never really spent time in Boston. Like, I have family up there, but we never like hung out. So it was cool to go to the North End. It was cool to see Seaport, which I know was very new and controversial, but I liked it.
Controversial.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm from Boston.
Yeah.
I go up a lot. I grew up there. It's controversial only that, you know, it used to be a lot of like factories or warehouses, and when I grew up, there was absolutely nothing there. And then they built it up, and now it's just expensive condos and rental apartments and like high scale chain restaurants and stores. So there's not a ton of character there. There's a funny TikTok video. Did you see the one where he talks about
Seaport?
It just being just like
came out of nowhere.
Just
and
came
it's
out of
like,
nowhere, but it's actually really close to the rest of Boston. It's just kind of over the bridge.
It's just a lot of like 25, 30 somethings.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of like bars and cool, like, I tried to go to the F1 arcade where you can like drive the cars inside the arcade. So cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
They had like 20 different simulators, and we couldn't actually do it. They didn't have a spot for us.
Yeah,
but stuff like that.
In the TikTok video, it goes, you can drink and play ping pong, you can drink and bowl, you can drink and play mini golf.
Or you can just drink.
You know, you can just drink. So, you know, it's kind of come out of nowhere, but it's like, you know, New York price apartments in Boston, and just, you know.
Was it busy though? Like, were there a lot of people there?
Super busy. Like, from my room, you look out and there was just like huge, like, I don't even know, probably was a warehouse at one point, but it's just a huge field, and it's just like 500 to 1,000 people just with a bunch of different bars around the outside. You can go, it's almost like a music festival. They would go up and get a drink, come back to the center, hang out with their friends. But it was like, that looked like your average Saturday in Seaport. That's kind of like, that was cool for me. Like, if I had all my friends there, like, that would be a blast. But I get why, if that wasn't your cup of tea, it would be like, I don't like
No,
that.
I enjoy going there. Mastro's has a restaurant there.
Yeah, we had Ocean Prime. I don't know.
Ocean Prime.
Oh, I heard of Ocean Prime
I think
before.
there's one here too.
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, they do like steak and seafood, like lobster, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
It was delicious.
Who would have known?
Who would have thought? I was in Boston also, we were coordinating potentially to meet up, but it didn't end up happening. I was at a wedding of my cousin, and I did some watch spotting there, and then I posted it, and there's some cool watches people were wearing. But you get all these people being like, you can't wear a watch to, if you're following the rules strictly, you can't wear a watch to a black tie wedding.
I feel like people haven't been to a wedding to be saying that.
No,
it's like, if you weren't in watches and you just went to a wedding, you wouldn't think it's unusual that people are wearing watches, right?
Yeah.
But also, if you are in watches and you go to a wedding, even if it's black tie, you want to wear something, right? Like, I can't imagine just not wearing a watch ever.
I feel like those rules are so outdated, and it just doesn't apply to modern society at all. Like, yes, you should wear a dress watch with a suit, right? But who's going to stop you from wearing a nice steel sports watch with a suit, especially if it looks good? And it, you know, like,
I wore a Royal
99% of the people who are probably going to look at your watch are just not people in watches anyways.
Yeah.
That 1% who's going to complain about it is someone who's looking at watches, but like I said, they probably not going to weddings. Like, and then I made a video similar, like, oh, what's the best wedding watch, right?
You probably got a lot of
people like, don't wear a watch to your wedding. It's the most precious time. I was like, okay, what if, you're the groom. What if your new parents-in-law just gifted you a watch because they are so thankful for you and they're so grateful for you, they give you a watch? Are you going to say, oh, sorry, I'm not going to wear this on my wedding day? I don't think I should be wearing a watch. You're not going to do that. You're going to wear the watch to show respect, even if it's something you don't like. I think it's just like a social rule. Huh? No, but this is like, someone left these comments on mine too, and I'm like, come on, man, like, if someone gave you a watch, like your parents-in-law, you're gonna start off the relationship really weird if you're like, I'm not wearing this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I agree with that, and I generally think it's kind of the way our society has developed over the past 5-10 years. Wear whatever you want. If you want to wear a Rolex Submariner to a wedding, and someone was wearing a Rolex Submariner, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge you for it.
No.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of these people that aren't watch people that have a Sub or like a Santos or things like that, that's their only nice watch.
Yeah.
That's what they spent their money on. So like now you're forcing them to go and buy like a $500 dress watch, which they probably don't even want or don't like, so they can wear it. Oh, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
I don't think anybody. No hate to people commenting that. I don't think anybody with actual like brains actually cares.
No one really cares.
I see those
honestly.
because I've gotten those too. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm wearing a sports watch like with a suit. Like I don't.
Yeah.
And I feel like the trend now is dress watch with sweatpants.
Yeah.
Like people wearing like Cartier tanks with sweatpants, and then they get dressed up, and it's like, oh, I wear a steel sports Rolex.
Well,
Yeah, they're like, oh, because it kind of shows like wealth in a different way. It's like I can wear a nice dress watch in a very casual attire. So
Yeah.
it kind of looks like it's like taking the normal and just like flipping it on its head.
Yeah.
I like wearing whatever I like whenever I want to. If I feel like wearing a Reverso with shorts, fine.
Wear it,
Yeah.
So that brings me into our next thing. Let's do our wrist check. I'll go first, and then Derek and Ben.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing the Atelier When Perception. I've had this for review for a little bit too long, but there's a reason for it. It has a blue, like a baby blue guilloche dial with a nice integrated unique bracelet. It has a touch of that Nautilus with the wings on the outside, but they're a Chinese brand, though the founders aren't from China.
Interesting.
I think one's
How is
from
that?
France and one's from somewhere else, or maybe they're both from France.
Swiss, maybe. Yeah.
But
Huh.
it uses a Chinese, I think, a seagull movement. And the only master guillocher, if I'm saying that right, in China does their dial, so hand done. And I know you've been wanting to see this.
I've been wanting to see it, so let me
I'm gonna
take that off
this
the wrist.
and I guess we'll let Ben go. Well,
no, I could talk about that. I want to talk about that watch.
okay.
I think so. I've never seen it in person. I've talked about it, and from people I trust, including you, you're like, it's actually really nice. So I've talked about it on videos before. The dial is incredible in person, and it's something that like, this is not an ad. I just was not expecting how nice that dial was.
Yeah. No, the dial's really
For the money,
nice.
is like
This is like under 2,000 or under 3,000?
Under 3, I
I
think.
think it's
three?
just
Yeah.
under 3. I think so.
Yeah, they just did a
Or
tantalum,
3.
a full tantalum with like the first tantalum bracelet.
I can't.
Um,
Tantalum is so heavy. It's like almost heavier than platinum.
Yeah. So
I think it's nice.
The dial is really stunning. I gotta say, like the guilloche they've done here is really.
it's very nice.
What is this collection called again? The
Perception, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that inspiration.
Can you
going to
perceive
here.
it?
I can perceive it for sure. Very clean looking. I mean, the bracelet's really nice too. I like how they do like the different polishing on the brush finishing and then like
And
on
the
the beveling.
chamfers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the movement on the back is interesting because they have like it's 3/4 like closed, and they have like the traditional like Chinese lion or dragon face here, and then you can see the mouth is where you would see what's it called, the balance spring, and then you can also see the rotor as well.
So I think that's smart because it's not like the best finished movement in the world, so they're doing some kind of like artistry on it. The only thing
clever.
The only thing I wish they had done something a little bit more with the rotor, because it's just kind of like a black rotor. But that's not stopping me from buying it. But maybe they didn't want to take away from the
I have a friend of mine that bought one. I talked about it, and he said he has, an overseas. He's got a pretty large, like decent collection price wise. He says he's never gotten more stops and questions about that watch.
Really?
He has the salmon version.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's not what they call it, but that's what they call it.
They might say copper.
I think that's
something
what
like
I think
that.
that's what they say.
Yeah. He loves it. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, it looks really good on my wrist too. The size is
You can
good.
stare at it.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
incredible.
It's funny because the first time I saw this brand too, it was someone walked into my store. I was like, "Hey, I want to show you this new watch I got," and it was a copper one.
Did you know the person?
I knew the person.
Okay,
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
someone
he was-
randomly shows up to your store.
Yeah, he might have been a salesman. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was someone. It was someone I knew who was in watches as well. But
Yeah.
he was wearing the brand just as a personal collection. He's like, "Oh, you
Yeah.
got to check this out." And so that was the first time I got hands on with it.
Which dial color was it?
He had the copper one.
Copper
yeah.
one.
And so I was like I was already blown away, and he was like so ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I even like that they put the micro adjustment in the clasp.
Yeah.
You just push the button. Like,
yeah.
ah,
It's smart.
it always boggles my mind. Like, I wish more brands in that same price point, like the bigger brands, could do these little adjustments.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's just it's simple, but it makes a huge difference. And this is an awesome watch. I gotta say.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, very nice.
Nice.
So, Derek, what do you got on? I kind of alluded to it.
Yeah, well, I'm wearing my Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso Dual Face Medium Classic. It's such a long name.
Yeah.
This is the medium size. I actually picked this up back in October. It was after my channel Minutemon hit 100K. So
Mhm. You bought yourself a little gift.
I bought myself a little gift, and I've always wanted a Reverso. So I wanted something to kind of commemorate that.
Yeah.
A few years ago, it was like the 100 or 110th anniversary of the Reverso. I was like, okay, I can try to link it with that.
Yeah.
But I ended up going with this one just because I like that it's dual face. The other side has a dual time. So
Yeah.
like last time I was at a wedding, I was in California, not that I needed
You're
to
gonna really
calculate
piss
the
off
time.
The people that you're tracking 2 times.
I was tracking 2 times at
Yeah.
a wedding. It was
Yeah, at a
crazy.
wedding, so-
Yeah. And wearing
You're
a
not,
suit,
you're not
you know?
appreciating the moment.
Yeah, exactly. But I like that the black dial side also has lume on it, which is like a
Mhm.
kind of unusual thing you wouldn't see on a
Yeah.
It's
kind of like a
detail.
dressier
that's,
watch.
That's a little bit of the sportier side if you're.
Yeah, so that's why I love wearing this because I get a little bit of lume on the black dial side.
Mhm.
There's some nice detailing, and then there's guilloche on the silver dial side.
Mhm.
So it's awesome.
I love is that the perlage on the inside of the case.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can check it
it's
out
so
too.
nice.
I love that.
So it's just been a great daily watch for me. It's hand wound. It fits great. What else to say about it?
Should bring a loop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
it's awesome. I feel like doing it for my 100K was like the right moment because it's something when I
awesome,
wear it,
right?
I feel like this is the watch I've been working up to. It like gave me a lot of motivation. Like I've always
Yeah.
wanted a Reverso. I just want a good reason to buy one. I don't want to just pick one up and then
Yeah.
I want to feel
Strap is
connected to it.
perfect too. It's not too dressy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original strap that came on it is like this brown calfskin that JLC uses a lot. I'm not a personal big fan of it. I know a lot of even my own customers, they end up just putting the strap away and putting something else on.
Yeah.
I put on a gray deluxe strap, like ghost
Yeah.
gray, because I think it just works for most occasions. And yeah, it's fun. It's very
awesome.
similar size to my Cartier Santos medium, which is why I chose this size as well. But
A little slimmer.
yeah, always
Yeah.
wanted a Reverso. Finally got one. It's the
yeah.
collection.
And Ben,
Should I go?
finally,
wearing,
he's finally wearing this. He's been talking about it.
Finally,
building it up.
yeah. So I bought the joke is I bought a Pelagos 39 and I wore it and I wanted it on the rubber strap. I was strictly going to wear it on that for the summer and it just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
My wrist is weirdly shaped. I don't know.
You didn't like the rubber strap? I thought it was pretty good.
It's a nice rubber strap. It's the way it like integrates with the case. You have to put it on the last link, like hooks up to the last
Oh,
link
yeah,
and then the
yeah.
case.
Not directly to the case.
Yeah, and
I
like,
remember
Couldn't you
now.
buy something from like
You
Rubber
could.
or...
but also like at that point I was like, this is so similar to my Tudor sub, which I wore last
Mhm.
episode.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's hard to get off my wrist because. Anyway, for me, it was too similar, and I wanted something that was a little more tooly, something I could like. The bezel's insane.
The Tudor bezel action
Yeah.
is...
Next
I gotta give it to
level.
bezel. I gotta
Yeah.
give it to Tudor.
Yeah.
60
over
click
Ren.
bezel. Not over Ren. Of
No.
course, yeah.
But I love this
too
Velcro
far.
strap. I'm not a NATO person. I've never been a NATO person, especially when it comes through and on the top
Don't
of the
say
watch,
NATO,
it like
they'll come
leaps
after
in.
you.
I know. Oh yeah, true. But I know what you're saying. But this one's really nice because of the Velcro and it's so sporty. And it's one of the only watches, believe it or not, which is so stupid.
Oh, I haven't even
Doesn't
seen this
matter.
NATO before. This is really cool.
Yeah.
I like that there's Velcro on it.
It's so nice. And then obviously the fixed lugs. It comes with the rubber NATO that I haven't actually put on
What
yet.
is it? Rubber NATO?
Yeah, it comes with both. But
yeah,
I just put on that one.
I want to hear what you think after you put on the rubber NATO, because I have a rubber NATO from I forgot which company, it's probably like one of the watch gecko ones.
Yeah.
And it's nice, but it's not very breathable. And then
Yeah.
it kind of like when you start sweating, it kind of gets stuck to my skin a little bit.
Okay.
And sometimes when your skin expands, it gets to feel really tight. At
Yeah.
least that was my experience with that one rubber. So I want to hear how you feel when you put
I
this
have
one
to
on rubber.
try it. This like I've been thinking about even buying the blue Velcro NATO that they make for the original FXD because it is that nice.
Damn, this is nice.
Yeah.
It looks just like the Pelagos 39 too.
Yeah,
Like it looks like the same watch almost.
the bezel's fully loomed, which I like.
I love that.
It's bigger, but I don't know what the lug to lug. Lug to lug.
Yeah, like
I don't know if that's like smaller because it's technically a 42.
oh,
but
that's 42.
it's a proper, and I love how close the dial is to the crystal compared to a lot of Tudor watches. I don't know if it's the FXD specifically, but
I would say the lug to lug is probably close to 49 to 50 millimeters.
yeah.
Because I've measured the top to my bottom of my wrist, and I
okay,
know
there you go.
I know my maximum like wrist is like 50 millimeters.
Yeah.
But like a 50 or 48 lug to lug usually
Yeah.
look a little big on my wrist.
Yeah.
But this one looks good. It fits well. Why did
So-
you choose the black over the blue? Just curious.
I like stupid, but I kind of like the look of the black. And when I went to the store, try them on, I tried on the blue, and I tried on this one, and I actually loved the strap on this one better. And I figured the black, it's just something spoke to me about the black. I don't know why, and I was nervous about choosing it because it's close to Tudor Sub. It's also black, but I don't regret it at all. And I love the full graduation bezel. It's sweet.
Yeah.
I actually have had zero complaints about this watch so far.
That's awesome.
It's the first time in a while I bought a watch and then actually worn it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's a perfect season to do that. Summertime. I mean, it's the best time to have a dive watch on the wrist
Oh
for
yeah.
all the weekend activities.
For all his strange, like
Strange
strange,
activities,
strange.
literally going tonight.
like golfing and going
Do
to
you
the
miss
beach.
the titanium at all, though? This is not titanium,
It
right?
is.
It is?
It is titanium, yeah. So that's one of the things I didn't like about
Isn't every Pelagos titanium?
all the Pelagos are titanium. I just didn't like the Pelagos 39, the titanium link, the bracelet. Like, it's
I
a great
remember.
watch. People can buy it. It just was a little redundant and a little boring
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
And this wasn't obviously not as boring. So I like it. I love it. I can't wait to swim in it this weekend.
Yeah.
Hopefully not with sharks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Really pushing that 300 meter water resistance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Oh, yeah. I'm going to push it like crazy. Maybe the rubber NATO will come out.
Yeah, it should definitely go down the rubber one.
Yeah.
All right, so today we are talking about controversial watch brands
Ugh,
and our thoughts on them.
there's a lot of them.
So,
There's controversial watch brands?
Oh,
just a
no.
few. So that's going to be brands like Hublot, brands like Jacob & Co., Richard Mille, maybe Invicta, maybe Bremont.
Maybe.
So where should we start?
I feel as soon as you mentioned that lineup, I was just thinking like, I bet if any of those brands are listening, they're like, okay, we're against our competitors. And then you throw in Invicta, they're like, what the hell? Why did you put that in there against us?
That's controversial.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah.
buy Invictas.
Of course they do. Yeah.
So maybe that's where we should start.
I've seen plenty of them in New York City.
I would say for 99% of Invictas, they're all bad. I think the Invicta Pro Diver.
Can you show it to us?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. So the Invicta Pro Diver is essentially a cheap
Submariner?
Submariner, which is stupid. And I don't recommend anybody buy this. But when you actually look at the price of this, you're going to be like,
What is the specs? Is it what kind of movement?
I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. So this is on Amazon. It's
Okay.
$50.
Okay.
Wow.
Swiss made,
Quartz-
obviously. No.
Quartz movement, 200 meters of here, 200 meters of water resistance. That's, in my opinion, pretty insane. Now,
That's a Submariner.
I mean, that's,
Come on.
no,
yeah,
100%. Do I think
yeah.
people should buy it? No, I don't. People were ask me, used to, when I was posting a lot of under 250.
You can get it
Watches
on
on
Thursday
TikTok.
if you 2 days if you order.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm on Ben's phone, so I'm just gonna
Oh,
order
yeah.
There's only 3 left. I'm gonna add all 3 to
Oh,
cart
yeah.
for Ben.
If Ben, you see Ben hawking Invictas next week,
Yeah,
it's because
yeah.
we
What's
ordered it from his phone.
And I actually see a lot of people wearing this because I'm like, oh, it's a
The
sub.
two-tone
You
is
get-
out of stock.
Oh, thank God. But it's like the only reason why I say it's like, oh, it's a decent watch is because like price for what you're getting is pretty incredible. Other than that, I would not.
There's some
recommend
that
anybody
get kind of expensive
Yeah.
and like crazy.
What's like
looking.
the more expensive Invicta? I'm like totally new to this.
Do you
I've
ever
seen
have
them,
someone
but-
come into your store and ask if you have it?
No,
No
never.
one has ever.
Yeah,
done it.
I don't let them in the front door if
Because
they,
occasionally-
if they're wearing. No, I'm just
occasionally-
kidding. Sorry, they never asked. I'm just kidding.
Occasionally, I'll do like a reel. Like when we
Yeah.
did that reel, the top 10 Swiss watch brands by unit. Someone was like Invicta. And I was like, it's like no.
Oh, you know what? That kind of makes sense. I mean,
They
you know what's so
They
probably-
do.
Okay.
I think they're like they do well as a company.
little divergent I want to say about those lists. I always notice that Morgan Stanley never puts like the Japanese brands like Seiko, Citizen, Grand
Well, that's
Seiko.
supposed to be Swiss, but like then Gucci.
But Lange is not Swiss. Like they're
Yeah.
owned by Richemont, but they're not like.
Yeah, it's very
They're
weird
German
how they
watch-
decide.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got a lot of that comments being like,
But
"That's
it's not.
Swiss,"
It's not
but, like,
us who made the list. Yeah, but that.
and they called it Swiss watch brands. So,
Yeah. I mean, because you'll see like Glashütte Original,
yeah.
you'll see Lange, and you're like, okay, that's clearly not
Those
Swiss.
are German. Yeah.
But they're still making the list. So that's why I was like, I wonder where Seiko, Grand Seiko, and these brands like Citizen. I wonder where these would rank if they
Yeah.
were allowed on the list.
I think Citizen does pretty well. And
I'm
obviously
pretty sure Seiko is going to be up
I
there.
think Grand Seiko is a lot smaller. in
Grand Seiko's-
production.
I know, like since the pandemic, or even a little bit before, Grand Seiko's has moved up market a lot.
Yeah.
Not just in pricing, but like competing with a
sure.
lot of the Swiss brands there. But that was my little divergent about the.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Are you
really get a lot of
finding
people asking about Invicta.
Yeah. So I'm on the Invicta website. I'm like, oh, the cheapest one.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone down the Invicta rabbit hole. Soon, all of Ben's watches are just gonna be Invicta.
Oh, yeah.
It's on
Also-
his Instagram.
Maybe the worst website ever. But the craziest thing is, I was like, oh, the expensive Invicta's gonna be $1,500.
It's like $6,000.
$20,000.
Oh my
Hold
god!
on,
What is it?
But what the Invicta does with their pricing structure
It's on
is they'll
sale.
be like, it's $3,000, but it's on sale for $600. You know, it's like, oh, it's such a good
$20,000
deal.
on sale for $12,000.
Yeah,
or
which is, like,
$11,000. And it has like a.
insane.
This one will, and we'll. I guess we'll put some photos.
Yeah.
in the
These
B-roll.
are like hurting my eyes
They have
so
like
much.
diamond dials. It's. I mean,
Look, I'm not gonna judge anyone wearing it, but looking at these watches are hurting
There are
my
human-
brain.
they
Clearly,
have
there are
this
human
whole-
beings that buy that.
They have yeah, a lot.
crazy.
They have a big following, and I think they sell a lot on like QVC or Home Shopping Network. You always see them. They're like this, really high end, like luxury watch, and then they're just
Yeah.
talking Invictas.
Man, I can't imagine someone even spending more than like $500 on an Invicta. They have like $5,000 Invictas. Like they have a Marvel Deadpool. I see for the new movie.
And is it discounted?
It's discounted. Yeah, it's originally $13,000, but you can get it at a great low price of $5,000
Oh my God.
for the
But,
Deadpool watch.
So Marvel's doing Spider-Man with AP and Deadpool with Invicta.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't even know how that works. Yeah, I don't know how they're. I think Deadpool probably licensed their trademark and their like likeness to Invicta. I can't imagine they did an exclusivity with Invicta. I'm
Well,
sure
yeah,
if
yeah,
AP
yeah, yeah,
approached
yeah.
Deadpool, they'd be like, "Sorry, I'm working with Invicta."
So when I do a get this style for less, if AP does a Deadpool, I'll just be like, buy the
this
the
instead.
Invicta is the less expensive version. So our consensus is, sorry, Adam Craniotis. He's a
Invicta.
Why is he a big
loves-
Invicta fan?
I think it's a joke.
for the meme?
Oh,
Well, the
for
other thing
the
about
memes.
Invicta is it's just copies. Like this is very
Yeah.
clearly a Nautilus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Maybe it's an Atelier One copy.
Yeah, oh, could be.
Yeah. So and they have a huge catalog.
It's way too big, obviously, but
Oh, I need
People wear them.
I
clearly
need something to
why not?
cleanse my brain now.
Okay.
We need
What can
something.
we cleanse with?
Yeah,
I don't even know if we're
Well,
talking
just
about
keep going.
We're
controversial.
just talking on controversial watch brands, so I think maybe next we go with Hublot.
Okay.
So I'm going to say, first of all, I don't agree with all the hate that it gets from certain members of the watch community, and I think it's become this kind of pile-on by a little knowledge sometimes is dangerous, right? Like, so these people that just got into the watch community and like have maybe own like one watch or just getting into it and have watched a couple of YouTube videos and are just like, Hublot, you like, it sucks. Your whole list is, not valid because you have a Hublot on it. But here's my rant. I have a Hublot rant, a pro Hublot rant, actually. Look, They're not all my cup of tea. I would say most of them are not my cup of tea. But they are actually have been like a very innovative company in, the last couple decades. They were the first one to put precious metal with rubber. They were they're like the pioneer in sapphire cases, sapphire bracelets, colored ceramics. Hublot is like the industry leader in those areas, and people don't give them credit for it. And they have, yes, they have maybe a $10,000 watch that uses, a stock ETA movement, and maybe I wouldn't buy that one. Yeah. But so does, other brands too. You can find that in a lot of luxury brands that don't get the same type of hate. And you look at something like I recently saw the Hublot MP10 or the Murakami only watch thing. Those are really cool.
That was cool.
Different watches.
That was a cool.
The MP10 took them, I think, 8 to 10 years to develop. And I was saying, if someone just like slapped MB&F on that watch, they would say, this is a great watch. This is so innovative. It's so cool. But because it says Hublot on it, people hate on it. So they're not my favorite brand to wear, but I do appreciate what they do. And I think there's some validity in them as kind of an innovator in the space. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with that.
I've been liking their partnerships they've been doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm on their website right now and they have the Takashi Murakami.
Yeah, I saw the
that
only
one's
watch
really
one
cool.
in, at Watches and Wonders.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And then recently the Daniel Arsham,
you were
what's it called? Like the Tamagotchi looking thing. That it's actually
that thing is cool.
Really striking.
I really want to see it in person.
I want to see it in person too. That's like there's nothing right now in our industry that looks like that. And obviously pocket watches are far less popular than wristwatches are already. Yeah. So I think that what they're doing in that space is really cool. I don't really have much to say about them on their their regular stock. I feel like to me my general consensus is like everything looks okay. Like it's nothing crazy for me to say too crazy bad or good things about it. Like I'm just very meh about it. Yeah. But I see a lot of hate online. I don't think it's always fair.
Have you seen the MP10?
No, show me that one.
The problem I have with the brand is like they are innovative and they make some cool things, but they're more entry level, 15,000. Cool. Yeah, the MP10's sick.
That's cool.
If someone else made it, like a high,
that looks like an MB&F. Yeah, like, it looks like another
go crazy for
manufacturer made it. Yeah,
I just think.
And guys, just before, if you give us your thoughts of all of these brands in the comments below. Yeah. Are we right? Are we wrong? Tell us why. So make sure you do that.
But my problem with them is like, first of all, handling them at certain price points, like you'll handle a watch and you're like, no branding on it. You'd be like, this is probably 4,000, and then it's like 20. Yeah, that's a problem I have. And then obviously the big ones like using generic movements, using the movement that you see in $2,500 watches, and it's 12,000. You're like, I think that's where people. But when they make cool stuff like this, they should get their props. But when I feel like if you're going to buy, in my opinion, when I'm buying into a watch brand, everything has to be like pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when it's like 20% of his stuff like this is very cool, like the Kashi Murakami, the only watch one, and then the pocket watch, this one, a couple of the other watches are awesome.
The LaFerrari is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Remember from a few years ago? Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that one too. Is that like they're modeling the engine?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
But like, and then you look at like the regular Big Bangs, it's like $9,000 with like a Salida 200 movement or something in it. And you're like, or ETA or whatever. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to
but not a lot of brands. I think what Ben's saying is not a lot of brands at that price point. Like
there are some in the like $10,000. Like
the only brand I've seen do it recently, and it's fine because people love this brand, is Cartier.
Okay. I mean, IWC also used Salidas too. I mean, they're starting to do more in-house. I feel like they should not have any shame in using other movements because that's what's kept their price points lower. Yeah. And then as they've been able to develop, and now that they're starting to do their own movements, they should be proud that they're able to switch over. I feel like sometimes they get it wrong and they feel kind of ashamed because there's nothing wrong. Like, I mean, like most of the industry uses ETA movements. Most of the industry uses Salida movements. Yeah. There's only like a really good handful that really make their own, or vertically integrated manufacturers to do all of this. And sometimes I think they think like to me, as a person who likes watches and buys watches for myself, the movement is not always the most important thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's usually the fit. Like, if I like the style and it fits well on my wrist, that's like the most important thing.
Yeah.
Then everything else trickles down. The movement is probably one of the second to last
Yeah.
kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, like Oris, I find is like interesting brand because they do a lot of in-house stuff, or they've been doing more in-house stuff, but they still offer they'll offer the same watch with a Sellita based movement at like $2,000, and then with their in-house movement at $4,000, which is to me very interesting because they're not forgetting about. They're obviously want to go up market a little bit and kind of do more innovative stuff and create their own movements, but they're not forgetting about like who their customer is, so they're not kind of leaving them behind.
I think it's good. I think when brands use generic movements because it's actually easier. Apparently, it's easier to service.
It is,
Yeah.
and that's really good. And you know that the movement's good because every brand's using it, so it must be pretty damn good. I just have a problem when it's like, we're gonna charge $7,000 for this with the in-house movement, but we're also gonna charge $7,000 for like the generic.
Yeah.
And like that's where I think it's like in hiding it and maybe not
it's like who's
talking
cutting
about
the
it.
cost or who's like inflating the price.
Yeah.
It's like that's the question it comes to.
I guess it really depends also on how much the other parts cost, right? Because sometimes if you're doing something that's ceramic or sapphire, that can get very expensive. There's like for sapphire, there's a lot of waste that happens. So
I can imagine
that could be where they're spending the money. I don't know. I haven't gone down and bit by bit figured out the cost of each part, but maybe that's some of the cost. Do people ask for Hublot in the store? Do you get that often?
I feel like my market, like our local market of Flushing, they don't really ask for Hublot much, but I have seen people wearing Hublot, and I feel like the people I've seen wearing Hublot, they are buying it because they just like the style, and they they're not asking too many questions about the movement and all of this, and they're not really getting involved with what people think online. And I feel like that's kind of the best way to approach things sometimes, is just like choose things you like. And I almost like envy that they can just live in this bubble where they don't really worry too much. And usually people aren't like, as much as people will say things online, it's very rare someone will go up to someone's face and like insult their watch. It just comes off so no one does that. Like it's just it's kind of silly. So I feel like you see it around, and people are happy with if that's what they want, that's what they want.
That's true.
It's true. I was looking to see, like, I know what a lot of what Hublot does too is they'll call it in-house, but like 95% of the movement is like a base movement.
Yeah.
So that's also
they'll say
other conversation.
They'll say like, oh, we got the Bosch movement and then we hand assembled the movement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
that could be
100%
ours.
assembled.
Yeah.
Like they might, like a lot of brands will use weird terminology to kind of trick you, and like
it's like the base movement, and then but every brand, I feel like, except micro brands, will say that even when they're using like a Sellita or Soprod or an Etta movement, we'll call it the I'm just gonna use Invicta because I don't want to piss off any brands. It's the Invicta caliber 2897, and then I'll say like base Sellita SW200. Micro brands, like Ren, for example, we just say it's a Sellita SW200.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like some brands shouldn't be scared to tell people that they're using like a well-known movement. Like if you had a car with a really well-known engine, and it's up to you at the end of the day to buy into that. But if you want something more exclusive, you want the brand to make their own movement, then that's different. I do agree with Ben though. If you're going to market that it's all in-house, all hand assembled, or if you're even going to say all 100% assembled, but it's not an in-house movement, I think that can get a little tricky to the consumer, because they're going to say like, I thought this was an all in-house movement because you fully assembled it.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's what micro brands do better at, because there's no shame, because like there's no way they can get to scale and keep the price at whatever price point they want without having to use like a well-known movement. And like,
that's true. So Hublot, we like some things about it.
Yeah, I'm like, I understand where the discourse comes from. Yeah, I can see why they're successful, and then but I don't think all the hate is always warranted.
Yeah,
I
agree.
So let's talk about Richard Mille next. But first, I heard some news from someone not in the watch industry. And I don't know how true this is,
I'm ready for it.
but they claim that they heard from someone in the industry that LVMH was going to buy Richard Mille.
Every
Like
year
in
there's
the
some
next few
LVMH
months,
news.
like
Few
for like
months?
$8 billion or something crazy like that.
That
Wow.
would be
I don't. So if it comes true, Wrist Enthusiast Radio broke the news. It's just a random rumor in the wind. So
I am very much in disbelief
I
because
was very skeptical.
there's so much news about LVMH trying to buy Cartier like every few years, and then it doesn't happen. There's
but that's Richemont Cartier. They're trying to buy it from.
they're trying to
Richemont.
buy it. Yeah, that's been in the
Yeah.
news for a while now.
I could imagine when they were still independent.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
yeah.
I've
And
seen
every
that.
time everyone's like, "Oh my god," and then nothing happens. We're like,
I've seen, yeah. It's funny. I actually was just listening to totally not random, but was just listening to a podcast about history of LVMH. I didn't talk about this last podcast, right?
No.
"Oh, I know which one you're talking about."
Acquired.
Yeah, I listened to
Acquired.
part of it. Yeah,
It's awesome. So he talks about Bernard Arnault, how
Mm-hmm.
he got started, and now he buys all of these luxury brands.
Yeah.
Puts them, obviously, everybody knows that that's the case now. It'd be interesting if they did buy, because it does fit into
that.
their model now, which is celebrity, which Richard Mille does,
Mhm.
exclusivity,
Yeah.
which is what they do, and very famously they tried to buy into Hermes, and Hermes was like no, and they tried to buy a couple other brands. So I would not be surprised. It kind of fits their brand for them
Yeah.
to buy it, but also that's expensive. Like
Yeah.
I feel like Richard Mille is doing well
Yeah, on
without
their
them.
own.
Like they don't need it to.
I like LVMH. I like Tag Heuer. I like Zenith a lot. I don't,
Yeah.
but like I just an ultra luxury independent brand. I just feel like I don't know. Maybe it loses its luster a little bit if it's in a group, any group. If it was going to Richemont, if it was going, the whole point is that it's like kind of came out of nowhere and it's super exclusive and it's not this huge like corporate entity. So what do you guys think about?
I think
brand
LVMH
or-
should not obviously buy Richard Mille, and I think they should just double down on the brands they already have, because
Mhm.
it's not like the brands they currently all have are like even the top 10 of the list we had last week or whatever. Some of these brands that they already own are not like the top 10 best brands in the world
Yeah.
already. If they have that much money to throw at another brand to acquire them, like
Yeah.
why not just double down on what they already have?
Well, they've been doing some stuff with Tag Heuer, with like the plasma, the avant-garde. That thing is crazy with the lab-grown diamonds into the case and into the bracelet of the new one. And I saw the split-second Rattrapant, the Monaco, which is a really cool watch. It's $140,000, and it's actually, maybe this is where the meeting first got set up. It's made in the same factory. The movement's the same factory and the same movement that Richard Mille uses in some of their watches. Just differently finished and some changes to
that
it.
is
So,
true.
Didn't LVMH open up like their own high watchmaking called La Fabrique du Temps?
So yes, I don't know if they opened it or I think they bought it.
They purchased it.
They
Yeah.
purchased it, and so I think they do a lot of their like Louis Vuitton watches. Like,
Yeah.
There. So I mean, I guess Louis Vuitton watches is probably where you would go really high end, right?
I
Well,
guess
they just released stuff today.
Yeah.
Really?
As
I
we're
didn't see
recording this on whatever today is. Yeah, they did. I could pull it up if you guys want to look at it.
Yeah. Let's take a look at
Yeah.
it. Let's
we'll
talk
give
about
our
it now.
live thoughts, even though this will come out in a week or two.
My original thought when I saw them, gorgeous watch.
Expensive.
I don't know the price yet. I literally saw it on Instagram, but I know Hodinky posted about it.
Okay, this is a live reaction.
Live
I've
reaction.
Never seen this before.
I thought they were pretty. I think what Louis Vuitton's released some actual very good watches
blue
the
is-
last couple of years.
It's
So
like hammer dial.
I guess
it's
yeah,
very
I
nice.
know that one of them's a meteorite dial. They're pretty. It's not like
that's cool.
oh my goodness, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life, but it's
Yeah, I gotta see it. I can't pull it up. I don't know what I'm looking for.
I'm sure
It's like
they're
about-
I'm sure they're minimum 25,000.
Yeah. No, they're nice. I mean, they're pretty restrained.
All right, shout out Tony Traina. This is his article.
Yeah,
shout
Tony.
out.
Hey, Tony.
Love myself
Louis
some
Vuitton,
Tony.
Come on the
Preciously
pod.
Yeah.
Escal as a time only.
He was asking. He called me last week. He was asking about it. I'm like, yeah, we're killing it. He goes, yeah,
Yeah.
good for you guys.
So what, Derek? Live thoughts?
I feel very meh about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool that they're making their own watches. I think give me a second. I'm just like kind of scrolling through. The movements look really nice. They have these micro rotor. The finishing on the movements look great. Okay, yeah, they're talking about last year's tambour.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I think I don't even remember if I've seen a tambour.
I didn't get
Have you guys
hands-on.
seen it? You didn't? Yeah, I didn't either.
I saw it in Dubai actually.
How was it?
What'd you guys
They're
think about
actually
it?
super. So okay, first of all, let me apologize to LVMH. I was interviewed for I think a Wall Street Journal article, and he was asking about Louis Vuitton watches, and I had said something like, "Oh, I think it'll just be a hard time competing with like legacy brands." I had not seen a tambour in person. I had said some very nice things about Louis Vuitton watches, but that's the only quote that got taken.
Of course.
Media
loves that.
I was like, I've never, getting an interview with anyone at Louis Vuitton again. No, but seeing the tambour in person, it's super nice and it's unique and different. And just like fits the wrist really well. So I can see why there's been a lot of hype around the brand.
I was surprised about the tambour, and I'm surprised about these watches. I feel like when you think Louis Vuitton, you think that
Like
pattern that goes on the bag.
Yeah,
You think
exactly.
in your face, look what I have. I have Louis
They're
Vuitton.
fairly restrained.
And then exactly.
Yeah.
These watches, it's almost like it's a completely different brand. There's no branding. It's the logo. There's no I mean, maybe on the crown. I haven't looked, but so different than what Louis Vuitton, how I view it.
So the one I like out of the ones on this
I like the blue
article,
one.
I like the meteorite dial,
Oh,
the platinum
okay.
and meteorite dial. That one's 35.5.
It's not bad, actually.
I still agree with Craig though. I feel like it's a very uphill battle for the brand, just because when people already have like a preconceived notion about what Louis Vuitton is. And I like their product. I like their bags and the wallets, everything, all their leather goods. Their watches are nice, but if you think about it in like the landscape of other brands, like it's not an easy, clear path for them.
So-
but I think they're doing what they should do, because the only way you're gonna make it is to just constantly like produce your own watches and just kind of pave your way and gain supporters along the way to to join your side.
It's interesting because I think what they're doing, it's weird. It's Louis Vuitton, which is huge business,
Right.
and huge company, and LVMH, which is obviously even bigger, but they're treating it kind of like an independent, both in like the style. Like this matches to me kind of the style of a lot of these really high-end independents that are coming out recently. Like you have Fleming, you have Simone Brett, some of those brands. This to me like fits very much in that kind of wheelhouse. And I don't think they're making a ton of them, so I think they're tapping into the collectors community, the real like independent enthusiast community, and getting a lot of positive feedback. So that makes sense to me. They're not, I just don't think they're making a ton of them. And so if they're really trying to be part of the collectors community, they've done like a good job, because I don't know anyone that's like, I've been trying to like get more into like reviewing those watches and stuff. And I know a lot of people that are really into that. But they all seem to really like it. And they're also doing like the awards and all of that stuff.
Like if I were to put myself in, the shoes of LVMH shoes, like I think this is their best path.
Yeah.
Regardless, because if they were to use the LVMH name and then make watches that people expected like around 5,000 to 10,000, then it wouldn't really have a lot of like woo-ha behind it. So if they use a well-known, movement manufacturer, and they produce these watches in a higher end stand, it's going to be polarizing, of course, but it's like they already know that they have to go head on into this kind of market.
Finishing is great on that.
No, even at like, I mean, when you're talking $30,000 watches, you're not talking value, but like, pretty nice. It could be 50. Like,
I know there will be people who will buy this. Like, there's no doubt they have customers for this already. Like,
of course.
I think I actually really like the platinum one. I like the dial. I feel like that looks the most similar to like the LV bag. Kind of look.
But
like in a classy kind of watch dial.
I like that hammered blue one.
The blue one is really nice too.
And the tambour I actually
it's
really
the same
like.
movement of a tambour, it looks like.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah.
That's something I want in my collection, a micro rotor movement.
Yeah.
I just think they look so classy.
Buy
Yeah,
a
they
Baltic. No,
There's so many options out there. I
Yeah,
just
they're
don't know which
thinner.
one.
They're
They're thinner. They look cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess Louis Vuitton would be a controversial watch brand, so that actually fits.
So that, yeah. What was the other one that I had?
Richard Mille.
Richard Mille.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
So look, design wise, I know they're not for everyone, and there's like big on the kind of celebrity culture.
Yeah.
But I think they're cool. I've handled a bunch in person. Obviously I don't own one.
He has a bunch in his collection.
Yeah, I have a
He
bunch
must-
in my
yeah.
collection. I just have been wearing.
I've handled a bunch.
I've just been wearing the cheaper watch. No, I do not own any. Maybe one day. if the podcast blows up, well,
Yeah.
What I'll say about, I'll pull up watches, you guys can look at them. I don't even,
Like, they have
the website's hard.
I saw recently they have the one that has the sport mode and the like casual mode, where the micro during sport mode, the micro rotor, or not the micro rotor, the rotor like splits into two and
I haven't
like,
seen that, but I
so
believe
like
it.
that gives more shock resistance. And then when you're not in sport mode, so when you're not playing like tennis or whatever, you press a button and it turns into like
That's
a normal
cool.
micro rotor. Like that's some innovative stuff. And you know, a lot of brands are focused on really high-end precious metals and stuff like that, and not on like materials and shock resistance and being able to wear it everywhere. And I don't have that many bad things to say about Richard Mille. I know some people think they look like plastic or whatever. I think they're kind of cool, and when you're wearing one, everyone knows you're wearing one. It's kind of like a power statement.
I feel like what they've accomplished in the industry is they've placed themselves in like this hyper luxury segment where it combines like this polarizing, like non-classical design with their own like materials and movements.
Yeah.
And they're doing well. I mean, like people aspire to have Richard Mille. I don't really have anything bad to say about them. Obviously, I don't have the budget for myself to buy one. So it's like, I don't know how much I can really talk about it. The designs are fine to me, but like, I feel like this market that are buying them don't really care about all these things. It's kind of like the aspirational aspect of
You get
owning
it.
a Richard
Yeah.
Mille.
Yeah.
Like if you know someone who owns a Richard Mille, you probably already think things about that person. Like
100%,
oh, yeah.
don't trust them. No.
Yeah, I don't trust them. I don't trust their decisions. I find interesting because I'm on Richard Mille website right now, and they're talking about like sponsoring with athletes, and the Olympics is coming up really soon.
And they don't do anything
in July. I think they sponsor specific Olympians.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so in the Olympics, Omega is the official timekeeper.
Yeah.
What that means is, and I know this because obviously with carrying Omega, they're not a sponsor. Like they're not paying money to sponsor the event. They're just the official timekeeper. They have some kind of partnership where they're featured on all of the events.
Yeah. They've done
Omega-
that for a long time. It's
for
like
decades now.
Yeah, it's like 60 years or something like that.
Omega has some athletes that they also sponsor individually. Like obviously Michael Phelps is one that comes to mind that everyone can recognize.
Who's the other swimmer last?
I
forgot
can't
his
remember.
name.
Oh,
Anyway.
But like I see that what I'm really excited for about the Olympics coming this year is I think I told you guys on my first episode here was that I also breakdance, and breaking is entering the Olympics
Really?
Paris 2024 for the first time.
way.
I have friends that I used to practice with in
That
New
are
York
in.
City who are in the Olympics. One of my friends, one of my groomsmen at my wedding, he's also Olympian level. His fiance, she's actually sponsored by Red Bull in Japan, and I'm like, I'm so excited because I already see that they're getting partnerships with like G-Shock and Seiko and like more of these brands that you could get more rugged with.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see like Omega or Rolex like come and approach one of these breakers.
Richard Mille.
Like Richard Mille, yeah.
Because
Like
you need to bang that thing
honestly,
around.
like there are some dancers who could probably like no one's gonna wear it while dancing. Like the tennis players usually don't wear during the game.
They do.
No.
Well, Richard Mille they will, but
Richard Mille,
Rolex, they'll put it on when they pick up the trophy.
Yeah.
So Nadal would wear it during.
I think that's the same thing. You would, you do your competition, the dance competition.
But in RM, you could wear it during.
You could, yeah.
And
Which
the
would be a
golf-
crazy.
So how
like-
is the U.S. team, do you think, shaking up against the competition?
I haven't seen the full U.S. team. It's been a long way for the breaking to get into the Olympics because it's not like a traditional sport like basketball where you understand you put the ball in the hoop and you get a point. It's like
more like a gymnastics floor exercise.
it's artistic,
Yeah.
it's athletic, there's a lot of like subjectivity to it because you have to understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you like, so it's been a long time because they have never had a unified judging system to get breaking into Olympics.
Yeah.
Someone did try to create a system where it would judge on like musicality. So like how well you're listening to music, your foundation, your blow up moves, like how powerful you look on stage, dynamics, and what's it called? Like even battle, like how you, when you're in a dance battle, it's not like boxing where you're hitting each other at the same time. You go one after each other. But that's like a conversation in itself.
Yeah.
It's not like ice skating where you dance and if someone does it to perform, it's like when you dance battle, you are directly responding to what someone did. It's like there's a cool one like in dancing there's like a burn. So a burn is like let's say you're dancing and you're taking too long and I point at my watch. That means you're taking too long. And that's like a dance burn. So maybe
I would be like after 1 minute, I'd be like,
so that's like like if you point at your wrist, you're the opponent. You're trying to shake up their confidence and make them feel like, oh shit, like I'm
so it's how
taking
they respond
too long.
to that.
And then imagine if you're the one
and you're pointing at your RM.
and you do a crazy move and then you land in a freeze and then you point at your wrist back. It's like, oh, he like took that and did it back.
And if it's an RM that you're wearing,
dude, even crazier.
So RM, if you're watching this,
I think there definitely will be. I want to be like one of the first people to report on it just because I know this dance and I know the people and I want to talk more about it as time kind of progressive. But this is like the little teaser into like why I'm so excited to see breaking in the Olympics.
Can we get a Ren on one of the breakers?
I can introduce you to people for sure.
Seriously.
Yeah. I can definitely introduce you.
Introduce me.
I think they would too because I just saw they sponsored a fencer from the Olympics.
Yeah,
I think his literal Instagram handle is Fencer, and I was like, "Well, who is this?"
Wow, he's got.
I'm like,
"Oh,
he's literally
Fencer."
Yeah. But they would totally would. That would fit right in with that.
Yeah. Like imagine you're a watch. Like okay, for Omega, like you have a new titanium shock absorption coaxial movement. You put it on a b-boy who's spinning on his head, doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Watch is telling perfect time. Come on.
Yeah.
Richard Mille too, doing something like that.
That
like,
Ren, so cool.
Yeah, Ren. Yeah, sorry.
Hey,
the only three brands I could think of in this. Yeah.
Okay, so we like Richard.
Well, the one thing I'll say, I want to say my point.
Okay.
Is I think that they're really cool. I'm like a lot of people don't like them. I think they're very cool. There's 2 or 3 that I would like.
That one.
Yeah.
That's really thin.
This is 6702 or 2704.
Yeah, someone was wearing it at the Hodinkee like closing party at Watches and Wonders, and
I'm sure, but like the thing is, like they're 400 grand.
It was Tony, right?
Oh, it's Tony Trainer for sure.
Tony Trainer.
We're really trying to get him on the pod.
But the thing is, like they're 400 grand. If it was 40, I would sell everything I had to have one. And
if it was like 40K, you said?
Yeah, because
10 times cheaper.
Yeah, but like because I actually would wear it. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's ugly." Like,
I think it's cool.
I think they're cool. Like, I would wear one. Do I think it's like the greatest watch in the world? No, but like I appreciate them from the point of view that I think they're cool. I don't know. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would wear it. I would wear it.
Yeah. Well, their brand's controversial.
You were mentioning Jacob & Co.
Oh, Jacob & Co.
Yeah,
I think
Jacob & Co.
So, okay. A lot of people think they're gaudy and maybe like a little bit flashy. But I think some of them are like actually pretty cool. And for what, I think we need this kind of like high jewelry mixed with like with watchmaking, that they're one of the only ones that do it and do it kind of successfully. Like, for example, I love the Astronomias because I'm a kind of a space nerd. I mean, they're big watches, but
that's the watch that everyone sends me on Instagram, like from people I've known since high school. They're like, "Have you seen this watch?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like, and you're like that 1,000th person to send me this watch. They're like, "It's $1 million." I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah, but they're super cool. I mean, like, how can you not think that's cool?
Yeah, I like their roulette one they did.
The roulette one
that's really cool.
I saw that one in Geneva as well. But like, and some of like they have those billionaire ones that are just diamonds, the whole entire bracelet and stuff, and have like a tourbillon in it. It's
that's DJ Khaled, right?
DJ Khaled, Floyd Mayweather, I think, has one. I think there's a place in the industry for that type of stuff.
They're pieces of art, in my opinion. They're not like when I think about them, those high-end ones, they have some like Epic X chronos that are like sports watches.
Yeah.
Like those high-end ones, they're pieces of art. They're not watches. Like I would hang that on my wall because I think they're so cool.
That's true.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I wouldn't wear
They
it.
have the.
I would be like kind of scared to wear it out.
Yeah, they're
like,
big and like sapphire, so you
Yeah.
bang it. I was in the store once and I was trying one on, and I sent to my mom a picture, and she's like, "Don't break it." I was like, "This is this is a house on my wrist," and she's like, "Don't break it." And she's like, "I already did." I was like, "I already did," and she said, "Seriously?" Obviously not.
How do you buy something like that? Like, you know how you have mortgages to buy a house? Can you like get a mortgage to buy a watch? I don't
like,
recommend anyone to do that, honestly. Please, please don't do that. Don't take that advice. But I don't think people should.
There are some like
Yeah.
there's some watch specific, high-end watch specific financing companies that have popped up recently, and I don't know exactly how I feel about that. It's one thing for like a car or a house which you need, but you know, financing a $40,000-$50,000 watch with, you know, interest rate and stuff like that seems a little bit like, I can understand like Afterpay or pay like when it's for like $2,000 watches, $3,000 watches or under, but when you're getting into like 50, 60, 70, $100,000 in financing a watch, it seems to me a little bit.
I'm okay. I think it's totally fine to finance, like you were saying. Like if you bought a watch and you could pay it off all in one shot, but you're like, you know what? I have other payments. Let me just save some money. I'll break it up into 12 months because my credit card offers me 0% interest. I say that's a wise decision. I don't think people should go into debt for a watch because that's just unwise, and there's no reason to need a watch, like to need to finance it. I mean, if you end up doing that, then I almost feel like, you know, you've chosen that path if something goes wrong.
There are
you know,
plenty of cheaper watches you can buy.
like
it's the same argument, people being like, oh, I found this $5,000 watch on this website. Like, what should I really pay? And I'm like, if you're talking about $5,000 watch and $300 is a make or break deal, you might be spending too much on the watch.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's just how it is. So
I agree.
But I don't like really being asked that question because, look, I'm in the industry, but I don't really buy and sell watches. So I'm going to do the same thing that you should be doing and like doing your own research.
Have you guys ever financed a watch before personally? Like your own purchases?
I thought about it one time because I had 0% and it was like, okay, like why not? I had other stuff I had to pay for, but I wasn't going into debt. But I was like,
I financed my tonal, which is not a watch, but it was 0% on a Fern. So I was, why not? It's free money.
I've actually financed a watch before, but it was basically I paid it all. I charged everything on my credit card, and then I broke it up into 18 months. I paid it off in 3, but I just did it because my credit card offered it for free. I was like, okay, well, might as well. And like, you know, I think that's fine. Well, obviously, because I did it, so I'm gonna advocate for it. But like, I'm not like I'm not borrowing money from someone.
How much
to
was
pay
the watch,
for it.
if you don't mind?
It was around 33 after tax.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had to. I could have paid it in one shot. I just decided it's not a wise decision because you never know. You should always have money for a rainy day. And you know, so I did that, and then when I felt comfortable, I was like, you know what, I'll just pay it off. And then I was able to get pay that off in a few months.
It's not bad then.
So, what do you guys think? Do you think you should finance watches? I'm not talking to these people.
The audience, I'm like, I just answered. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so Jacob and Co. Art.
I feel like every watch we talk about, it becomes a tangent to another topic. But it's because like I can't talk about just their design and not think about like all the other things. Like every time we talk about a watch, I think about, would I actually use my own money to buy it? And if I would, like X, Y, and Z comes up in my head.
I wouldn't unless I was a billionaire. Maybe,
I think they make really cool watches. I think they're also in that segment where they're different than like the Holy Trinity, more classical legacy brands. They're doing things that are different. They obviously have a market for it. It may not be for everyone, but like everything in this like high luxury is not for everyone anyways. So I think what they're doing is cool. And the fact that people keep sending me videos about it means that it's working. So
there's something, right?
I think they're doing well. And
And they're distinctive. When you're wearing a Jacob and Co.
Yeah.
People know you're wearing, or people that know watches know you're
you're
wearing.
right.
You'll
a
find
Jacob
this
and Co.
interesting. I was eating dinner with my dad like last weekend, and he told me that him and Jacob and Co. started in the same flea market. They know each other
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow,
we were
that's
like,
crazy.
and I remember when I had a friend of mine who worked at the Jacob and Co. and she would work closely with Jacob,
Yeah.
and he would talk when I guess my name or my dad's name came up. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, like I know Alan, my dad."
Yeah.
And but I've never met him or his family yet. So
Have they
I was
ever
like,
approached
it's cool.
you about coming in the store, or is it just not your?
I mean, we have gotten asked before
Okay.
from someone from their company, but I think that our market's just
It's
different.
just so different.
Yeah, and I think they're doing great with what they're doing
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, fair.
but yeah,
Okay.
Awesome.
I think we got some controversial opinions about some brands that are
Controversial
polarizing.
brands. Yeah.
As I said, let us know what you think about Jacob and Co. What you think about Hublot. What you think about
Yeah,
Invicta. What other brands do we talk about? Louis
Rich-
Vuitton.
Richard Mille.
Richard Mille. Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. Were we right? Were we wrong? Want to hear it all.
well,
Yeah.
I have another watch I want to throw your way
Okay.
just to
Oh,
get
go for
opinions
it.
on.
Okay.
Omega launched a new Speedmaster two-tones.
Saw
Did you guys
it.
see those?
Oh yeah, with
Yeah,
Barry Keoghan.
yeah,
was
yeah.
wearing
Oh yeah,
it.
and then he officially became
like
a
a
brand.
friend of a brand, as an ambassador.
Yeah,
Did
the
they say
names always
friends?
are a
Did
little.
they say
I thought he was
friends?
already a
Friend.
friend.
I think
yeah.
a friend is like someone, I don't know, that maybe does one-off stuff.
Maybe.
And comes to events and stuff, and then a brand ambassador is kind
Yeah.
of in actual print
Yeah.
ads and stuff like that.
Yeah, what'd you
Sorry.
guys think of the watch first?
I saw it, but I don't really remember it.
I saw it. For me, not worth it for me. I thought it actually
much
was
is it?
pretty good looking. It's 18.
Yeah, so it's like in
Perfect.
This
between the
one?
price of a full moonshine gold.
This one?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I thought they were cool. Two-tone's not for me,
I like it. I'm not a huge
but it
two-tone
looks
person.
good. It does look good. I just can't imagine. Is there a market for that, you think, Derek?
There's always a market. Every
Fair.
watch that's out there, there's always someone who's gonna buy it.
I like it. I'm not a huge
If I
Which
had
one
to
person
choose, I would
better,
choose the
I think.
yellow gold version with the with
It-
like the yellow gold panda kind of
There's
style.
another one.
There's another one with like a Sedna
Oh,
gold.
this style? This one?
Yeah, if I had
Oh,
to
that-
choose
yeah,
one,
I-
I would choose the lighter dial
I
one.
actually like. I mean, that one looks a little more vintagey to me, which I kind of like. The one with the gold dial.
That's the one I would go for.
Oh yeah.
I
Why does it look so different? Is that a third one?
I don't,
What Oh, I don't.
no, maybe that's,
how
on
it
the,
looks.
no,
shift,
that's
so
no,
yeah.
no,
No, that-
no,
that's
this
not
one.
it.
That's an older one. This is the one.
That's different than the one I showed you.
Yeah, because that bracelet's different. That's
No. Then this one. That's the same.
No, same one.
Oh, that
What's
is
the
the same
second
one.
one?
What's the other one?
This one. This one.
The other one is this
Oh,
one.
this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
No, I
never
like
mind.
I like the one.
Every
I
time you
like
say
the-
this one, you just put a picture on the screen so people know what we're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. it's the rose gold or Sedna gold, and it has this like salmony rose.
No,
Copper
I don't
dial.
like that one as much.
Do you guys
Yeah, I like
like
the other
salmon dial or copper
I do
dial
like it.
stuff?
I just think that it's like it doesn't on this one. It doesn't match as much the at least in this picture. It doesn't like this color is more salmon and this is more rose
Yeah.
gold.
I'm sure in person it's
Maybe in
smaller.
person it matches.
I don't know.
but this
Like
product shot's not great.
I'm not a big salmon
Me
copper
too.
dial. It just I don't know if it doesn't fit my skin tone or what. It just doesn't work.
that's exactly how I feel. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm wearing skin on my skin sometimes.
Yeah, it's
If it's not done like in
Yeah.
but I obviously like if AP has the 15202, the jumbo in
Yeah,
a salmon dial.
yeah.
That's nice, like with the
Yeah.
white gold. But like I don't know, I haven't seen that many salmon dials. The last one that comes to memory, modern watches, the Chopard Alpine Eagle salmon
Yeah.
dial, small
Oh,
seconds.
I almost bought the Moser Streamliner.
Oh yeah, they do a
Center
salmon
seconds
too.
with salmon. I love that.
It's
one.
almost like a tan salmon too.
Yeah,
it's, a
it's
little
like it gets
darker.
brown and
Yeah,
different
yeah.
colors too. Yeah,
I'm trying to push for a long-term review of a Moser. Like give me 6 months of a streamliner because I love them, but I don't know if it'll work.
I'm gonna ask one question. Maybe we can close out with this one.
Okay.
It would be, what are some watches you guys are personally interested to buy for yourself this year, or like
This
things
year.
you've seen? Yeah, I don't think we've ever asked each other this before
That's a
too.
good one.
So I
Because
just
we kind of started this after Watches and Wonders,
Yeah.
like a month or two after. So we never even like talked about all this stuff and
I don't know that there
see
was
where we're at.
there was anything from Watches and Wonders that spoke to me so much that I just like want to run out and buy it. I bought that colloquium. It hasn't come yet, so
Okay, I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah, I'm excited to get it. Apparently, it's being shipped out this week, so hopefully next
Nice,
week
yeah.
I'll have it, or the week after. Yeah, like there's a couple watches that I've wanted. That Streamliner, that I've wanted a Santos. I really like the Reverso Tribute Chronograph.
That one's nice too.
That Verso on your wrist is one of the ones
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to do it this year, but I love it. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, so those are kind of like what I've been thinking about the past year or two. It hasn't really changed that much what I've been into. That new Chan and Toledano is pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Have
yeah.
you seen that one?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in person.
Yeah,
It
I
looks
haven't seen it
really
in
cool.
person. I
Though.
want to see it in person. It's got that kind of
That dial is
Rolex
awesome.
Midas, vintage Piaget,
Brutalist design.
Brutalist. Well, but
Can I say something controversial?
yeah,
I've only on the internet seen good opinions of it, so I wasn't the biggest fan of it.
okay,
Mhm.
I get why it's cool. It's very like that style of like that brutalist architecture, different cases is
Yeah.
in.
asymmetric.
I heard from somebody that bought it that it really doesn't feel like a $4,000 watch.
Hmm.
It. I don't know. I'm interested to see where the brand goes with it because that's like my budget.
You see
so,
their
like,
Sotheby's 1 with the
That was
carbon.
sick.
Yeah.
that was cool. I thought that one was awesome.
Yeah,
I also heard that it wears huge.
really. Well, these are like kind
Yeah.
of goes like that.
Yeah, people were saying, and even if you look at like wrist shots of people, like they have maybe a smaller wrist, you're like, oh my goodness. I don't know. I have
Yeah,
my-
I want to see one
Sure, I
in
think
person.
yeah.
I
They
think
shipped them.
it's different. It's unique,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I'll see one.
They've shipped them
around.
for sure because I've seen people getting one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that was, and they've like Michael Strahan has one, and like the Rolling
was
Stones
crazy.
drummer was wearing one, or some crazy people.
Yeah, that was
we're
nuts. The Michael
seeing-
Strahan one was nuts. I was
Yeah.
nuts.
So is this a watch you want to purchase for yourself this year?
I want to see one.
You want to see one?
Yeah, I want to see one in
Yeah.
person. So, yeah, and like there's so many of these. I saw that an Anoma.
yeah, that was
I saw that one in Geneva. Do you see that one?
No, I didn't see
You'll
it.
like it. It's just like
yeah.
triangle. It's like a mixture of a
Like,
Cartier Pebble
apparently my
and
face
a
doesn't look the
Hamilton
same.
Ventura.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I saw that online. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought
I
almost
thought of
pulled
Hamilton
trigger on
first.
it,
Yeah, when I
but I was like,
saw
oh,
that.
I don't need this.
I met the guy.
it's really
You're like, I
nice.
don't need it.
Yeah, I don't.
That's how I feel about like 90% of
Yeah.
my purchases. Yeah, that
That's
one looks really cool.
It's cool. I mean,
I saw someone post like this plus the Toledo and Chan,
Yeah.
like, and then a few other watches,
yeah.
like as like, oh, the Brutalist
Oh, that
era
was
coming out.
that was I think Cranio.
That's Craniotes, right?
Yeah. And what I like is that they're kind of in the $1,000 to $5,000 price point because we're seeing all these like really high end independents come about
Yeah.
that have really unique, and interesting aesthetics, but you don't see it as much in that price point. And then AP came out with that reissue or whatever it's
Oh, the
called again.
remaster.
The
or something.
remaster,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
with
what it
all these.
And it looks
See,
like
yeah,
the
see, they're all, like,
Toledano and
coming out
Chan.
at the
It looks
same-
like the Toledano
Look
and
at
Chan,
this.
but
This
I
is-
think the Toledano and Chan looks better than the AP.
Look,
I
this
agree.
this fits right into the controversial designs
Yeah.
because these are brutalist styles. So
Yeah.
I didn't see the AP either. Have you seen them? Yeah, in person.
In person,
Not in
no.
person, no.
Yeah.
And the colloquium they call brutalist also,
Oh,
but in like a
interesting.
different,
really?
way. Yeah.
I really like that Anoma. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And that is like, what I like about it too is it's very timeless. It's very
Yeah.
Cartier Pebble. It's very like
Yeah.
30 years from now, that's gonna be a good looking watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely looks super futuristic. It kind of looks like the Dune watch too, in a way,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
with the Hamilton.
It looks
did,
like
too.
it's like retro futuristic, right? Like something
Yeah.
you'd see in like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Them wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is what like in 1960. This is what the future is gonna look like.
that's
This
what they
watch.
thought we
Yeah.
were going to be wearing in 2020.
Yeah.
Not still talking about Nautiluses
We'd have
and
flying cars,
Royal
and-
Oaks, yeah.
Yeah. What?
the watches are exactly the same.
their watches
that they
are the
were.
exact same. Yeah.
All right. So those are our controversial opinions. Let
Yeah.
us know if you agree below.
Yeah. Down
And
below.
we'll see you next time.
We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.